right. Welcome to everyone out there, all you motorheads. I think we'll call each other motorheads. Welcome to the one and only Crash Course. Glad to be back at it again. I don't think we did anything last week because I think last week was a holiday week, right? Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a nice Memorial Day. I don't think the weather was too nice. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on that. I don't know what part of the tri-state area you're getting this, or country. If you're, I know this is a podcast and I have to be careful. My radio days, it was a local thing, so I knew we were just hitting Suffolk County. And although my engineer, my board operator, Anthony, would always inform me, we don't even hit really Suffolk County. That was hysterical with that. But at least we knew pretty much, who we were talking to. So over here, I know it's a podcast. I know anybody and everybody can see this from many different points. That is, of course, devices, right? Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, yada, yada. So wherever you are, whoever you are, hope you had a nice Memorial Day. I did. Weather over here in the tri-state area, Long Island really sucked, to be honest with you. It really did. I made it down to Jones Beach. All right, Jones Beach, a big famous beach here in New York. And we had an air show. Air show was cool. I've been to it many times in the past. Hadn't caught it in a number of years. Thunderbirds were there. They were great as usual. A couple F-35s and some local stunt guys and some other military. A lot of fun. But what I thought was hysterical is we're on the beach, and I'm sitting there with my brother and sister-in-law. And all of a sudden it dawns on us, we got jackets on, sweaters, people walking around with blankets wrapped around them. It's the end of May, and we're on a beach with everybody. Everybody. There was some people in bathing suits and that, the younger folk. I guess I was probably doing that too, when I was a younger guy. So that, that was really quite a sight to see. I don't know where all this global warming stuff is going. I don't know who's getting globally warmed, but it ain't happening here. All right, we're getting globally chilled. I remember back in the 70s, this is hysterical. So back in the 70s, I'm going to say like mid-70s, there were articles that were coming out in Time Magazine. I don't even know if Time Magazine's still around, but if it is, it was a big deal back in the day when magazines ruled the world. And and they were in National Geographic, and they were running articles about how, a mini ice age, the new ice age is coming. Folks, I'm talking about 1976, okay? And by the way, 77 was actually a really nasty winter. I remember that. We had the blizzard of 77. We ended up with 3 feet of snow. I remember they were forecasting rain. Me and my brother got up, ran to the door. You couldn't even see out the side door. Snow was so deep. They had to get shit from upstate to come down and dig us out. It was horrendous. Unbelievable. The blizzards that we would get back then. So they were forecasting Armageddon, but in the form of ice. We were going to get another ice age. Oh, you can't make this shit up. It was going to be a mini ice age is coming. And I was a kid growing up, so I didn't give a shit. I'm laughing. Me and my brother laughing, but, making igloos and snow forts and throwing snowballs. Who gives a shit when you're young? It was hysterical, right? But, when you look at the articles back there and you look at all the pundits and all the stories that were running and all the doom and gloom is, and the Wizards of No and everything. That's Wizards of No, K-N-O-W, by the way. And, all these think tanks and everything and all the greenies back then. It's going to be bad. The ice age is coming. And then fast forward, now they're trying to tell us the global warming is coming, right? So you can't figure it out. All I know is I was on that beach Sunday, all right before Memorial Day. And I can damn well tell you, I didn't see or feel any global warming coming, all right? And neither did anybody else down there. And it was so bad, even the commentators for the show kept commenting on it. One of the pilots was flying in, one of the stunt guys, and he's like, I'm trying to get them about a mile out. I got to tell you, I know it's cold. I appreciate everybody waiting for me. It was hysterical, right? End of May, and we're all in snorkels and walking around, and I'm eating roasted corn, and I'm so happy that it's roasted hot. All right. Normally, you would have been nowhere near roasted corn, right? Come on. But anyway, it was a good time. It was, I guess, technically kind of sunny. Although, like I said, it was very blustery and cold for the end of May, and the weather was kind of disappointing. But it wasn't raining, so I guess we have to be happy about that, right? There've been a lot of Memorial Days where it's warm, but it freaking rains. So take the good with the bad. Had a lot of fun. Air show was amazing. If you're in the tri-state area, if you're on Long Island, I'm not going to say tri-state because I don't know where the hell they show up at. They do these shows all over the country, but here on Long Island, it's always Jones Beach. hey, man, if you haven't caught this, you got to check this out next time. It's a lot of fun, really cool. It's a very patriotic day. They do it Saturday and Sunday. Sunday was the better day. Oh, man, this is great. So if you listen to the news and the people in the news, right, they'll get you up at 4 a.m. So I jump in the car, I haul ass out there. They're like, you better get there by 8 o'clock. Otherwise, they lock down the highways. I'm thinking, holy shit. I was just at this show 4 years ago. I got there at 8:30. So jump out of bed, 5:15, hauling ass there. I get there. There's literally 6 cars in the parking lot. I'm looking around. I'm laughing. I'm like, where the fuck? I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this thing doesn't start till 10 o'clock. I'm here at 6:30. I'm sleeping in the truck and I'm waking up. It was hysterical. I mean, it didn't really actually get busy until probably about 8:15 or so. So don't take their advice. Don't leave at the crack of dawn. I would say if you're going to do it, make sure you're on the road by 7 o'clock. You should be fine. All right. I was in field 5, and like I said, I didn't really see it getting massively filled. Probably until about 8 o'clock, 8 a.m., maybe, 8:15, maybe 7:45. I saw the traffic starting to really tick up. But, I got there, I got there earlier than the ducks and the seagulls weren't even up yet. And I was already there. It was hysterical. But it was a good time. I had a good time. Hope everybody had a nice holiday, a nice Memorial Day. I think it's a great holiday. We all really need to reflect on that, and the idea of Memorial Day, it's not like Veterans Day, folks. Not like Veterans Day, all right? It's not about whether you served or, who was in what service and this and that. Memorial Day is strictly to honor those that died, all right? This is to take a moment to be reflective on the folks that actually got shot at, right? For lack of a better thing. They actually saw combat, or they faced the enemy on foreign soil, defended our freedoms, defended our country, defended our culture and our belief system, all right? And unfortunately, for a lot of them, they never came back, right? That's Memorial Day, all right? So it's a solemn day, but it's also a great day to be American, right? It's patriotic day, and I think there needs to be more and more emphasis on that in the future. That's just my opinion. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that do, and that's great, but I think a lot more have to, all right? Especially with all the we see all the bullshit that goes on around here today and everything, right? It's just, it's crazy. So, all right. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we do here. This is Crash Course. All right. So, if you've been with us for quite a while, thank you very much. I appreciate you staying on board for the ride. All right. If you're just stopping by and you're pushing buttons on your phone, your tablet, or whatever the hell you're looking at there these days, I can't even come up with it. I keep coming up with more and more different devices. Welcome. Stick around. All right, we try and have some fun here. We try and lighten things up and, get a little edgy at times. All right, so, to make it fun. All right, but basically what we do is here we help the folks, right? We like to think that we're doing good work here, all right? And our mantra, right, if you've been following me, the mantra, we're giving you knowledge and advice, knowledge and information that you need and can use, and advice you can trust, all right? It's pretty simple, but, it's simple yet profound, right? Because there's tons of information out there, right? We always say, years ago, we heard about the information highway, right? When the information highway. Well, yeah, okay. I will give you this. There's a lot of information out there, folks, all right? But there's also a lot of bullshit. I would even say down and out propaganda. A lot of demagoguing goes on today. If you don't know what that is, look it up. That's the word of the day, demagoguing. All bad stuff. Okay, now you got this artificial intelligence. Holy shit. Anybody checking this out? Right? This deep fake stuff and all this other crap. This is like downright creepy shit. Right? I guess if you're younger, I try and think in terms of, hey, if I was 19 or 20 again, like I think like when I was 19 and 20, like what was going on that I was latching onto. And I'm probably not a good example because I was a little different. All right. I don't mean different like, nut job or, ADHD type or anything like that. Even though that didn't exist back then. Another made up thing. But I don't know, whatever they called us. Instead of ADHD, they called us, nut jobs or, people that just couldn't sit still. I was none of that. I just mean that I was a kind of a serious guy. I was in a military school, kind of knew what I wanted to do, where I was going, who I thought I was going to be. So I don't know if I really latched on to anything of the day. But I'm sure there were some things. I mean, I had my Pioneer stereo. I don't know. Does that count? I thought that was cool. My blah punk speakers I had in the back of my 71 Torino. Hey, 71 Grand Torino. I had it. Right? You car gurus out there. Remember that car? Remember it in the movie, Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood? Well, I drove one of those. It wasn't quite as unique. You wouldn't find that in any car show. That's for damn sure. I mean, mine when I bought the thing, let me say, I bought it for $500 from an old German guy that lived in Brentwood, which is where I grew up, Brentwood, Long Island. And he was selling the car. I shit you not. This car was purple, black, and yellow. And I looked at that thing and I was like, wow, this is great. What a bargain. I bought that thing. I proceeded to sand it down. My father was pissed as anything. I'm doing body work in the driveway. Folks, I'm telling you, man, the 70s were amazing. Amazing. I mean, we were dropping motor oil down the sewers, dropping oil pans in the driveway. Old motor oil was going down the sewer. I remember my old man would tell me, just go down and drop it in the sewer. And as I got older, I started to get a little concerned about that, right? I'm like, well, wait a minute, we're dropping this shit in the sewer? They're telling us at school that this type of stuff is, toxic and everything. And my dad would say, no, it's not toxic. It comes out of the ground. It's going to go back in the ground. It gets recycled. This is what went on in the 70s. Your old man's telling you. I mean, it was hysterical. So I'm doing body work. I'm sanding this shit. No mask. I got the DA sander. I don't even know where I got the sand. I think I was using my father's Craftsman tool thing or something. I had a grinder on there, grinding the shit out of this thing. I went down, I picked up body plastic, which, back in the day it was horrendous. I mean, it was, just horrible. It was nothing like the crap they have today. Plowing this shit on there, sanding it down, cheese grading it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I really didn't. I think a couple of my friends were into cars and they were telling me, what to do. And they had read books or maybe Encyclopedia Britannica. The Encyclopedia Britannica was our like Google back in the day. Everybody Googles everything. Well, you went to the encyclopedia. If you didn't know shit, you went to the encyclopedia. What is it? Go to the encyclopedia. It was hysterical. That was our Google. And anyway, so I'm out there and I got my 71 Torino. I'm sanding this thing in the driveway, right? It's purple, green. It's purple, yellow, and black. I shit you not. You can't make this up. And it had some body damage here. Sanding it all down. I ended up, after I did the body work, it looked like shit, but I primed it all. Shit you not. I went and got a case of primer, black primer paint, and sprayed the whole car with black primer. I remember how I was like, oh, look at this thing. I put a racing steering wheel, a little racing steer. I took the Ford steering wheel off. I put this little racing steer. I went to ATV. ATV was the big place to go back in my day for all the motorsport shit and everything, racing stuff. Put that in there. I put the Pioneer stereo in. I put the blah punk speakers in the back, and and then we ripped the exhaust down. We threw the headers on. Anybody remember headers? Remember that? Putting the headers on, the thrush headers. It had the bird on it. What the hell's the name of that damn bird that was running around on with the coyote? Roadrunner. Beep beep. That stupid thing. Anyway, they had a picture of that thing on the side of the headers, and we threw the headers on there. The whole 9 yards. And I put the big wheels on, and no traction bars, just the big wheels. And I drove the shit out of this thing. I ended up driving this thing back and forth to Georgia, where our military school was, and unbelievable. I mean, I just thought I was like on the top of the world driving around. There I am down there in Georgia in 1980. A guy from New York. You believe that shit? I don't know how the fuck I picked out a school in Georgia in 1980. I remember my old man telling me, when you get down there, just tell him you like Jimmy Carter. I didn't like Jimmy Carter, but he told me to say that because he was from Georgia. My old man's like, you're going down to a school. You're going to have all rednecks down here. He said, you're showing up down here? He said, they're going to know you're from New York right away. If anybody's giving you shit, just tell them you supported Jimmy Carter and you love peanuts. Oh, my God. The good old days. The good old days. We could insult each other and then laugh our asses off over it. It was freaking great. But anyway, that was it. 71 Grand Torino. It was my first big car. $500, my own money. Plopped it down. Drove that thing until it blew up, and it literally blew up. Time and chain went. Ended up going with a friend to school. We broke down in Washington, D.C. Went down there, tow bar, towed it back with his pickup truck. Hysterical as shit. Folks, I got to tell you, man, if you're a car guy, like I used to be when I was young, I was totally into cars. I mean, we grew up with cars. My generation grew up with cars, okay? We were the last baby boomer generation, too, all right? We grew up with cars. And what I mean by that, I know some people looking at me right now and they're saying, what do you mean? But we still like cars. Yeah, I know. But it's the Rice Rockets, right? My coworker that I work with, he's in his 40s. He's got an old Honda Civic that he douched up and everything. And you got the little 4-cylinder motor and you throw this big turbo on there and thing generates 5,000 horse or whatever. Again, I guess that's cool. Our cars were genuine, all right? Big block, 351 Cleveland. The 403s, the whole 9 yards here. You had the Chevy Impala, you had the Plymouth Satellite. Used to be a police chase car for the state police. I had like a 450 in there. It was fuck. You put wings on this thing and run it down a runway. We'd probably get off the ground briefly. It was just great. It was great. It was a different time. It was a different world, a different age. But your car was actually like, it was a representative of you. It was an extension of your personality. It really was. And it was great. And so simple, right? We pulled my Torino, we blew the timing chain, we pulled that thing into my old man's garage, ripped off the front of the engine, put the timing chain back in, new sprocket, retimed that thing. You had the timing light, the whole 9 yards, set the points, put the new plugs in, bam, boom. All this shit we're doing overnight, folks. Overnight, we would do this. The next day, that car would roll out of that garage and we'd be on the road again. Hysterical, right? It was awesome. It was great. And those were, those were the days, right? 71 Gran Torino, my first car. Hey, anyway, getting back to what we started with here, talking about Crash Course, all right? So if you've been with us, again, thank you very much for staying on the bus. I really appreciate it. We really, really love all our supporters out there. Folks, I can't say it enough. We've been at this now for years. I think this is the 93rd episode or something. I think I was just told. We were trying to figure that out here. Me and my puppet master. That's the guru guy. All right. My good friend Anthony. He's the one that makes this all work, folks. All right. I'm the voice, but he's the puppet master. All right. Anyway, I think it's like 93 episodes. And the YouTube channel, hey, we hit 100,000 views at one point on that. That was a hell of a milestone. It really was. All right, and we want to keep growing that because I think the YouTube, you'll hear me talk about YouTube all the time, right? I'm a musician. I tell you, I use YouTube all the time for drumming. I'm a drummer in a band, right? So if you're a musician, hey, you get it, right? YouTube, bam, go to YouTube. You bring up anything you want. You can even get notation, musical notation, right? There's guys all over that thing, right? They're either going to teach you how to play an instrument or how to play along with a song. And so I love YouTube. All right, and if you do too, then go check out our YouTube channel. Right? I think you'll enjoy it. There's some really cool videos that me and Anthony did years ago that I think are still there. I think they're pretty entertaining and educational, and they're free. They're free. You know what we say here at Crash Course? You get to be the smartest person in the room. You get information. All right, check it out. You get a lot of information and knowledge that you need and can use, and it's free. We don't charge you anything. What's better than that, man? I don't know anything that's better than that. You're getting smarter for nothing. What a bargain, man. That's what you get here, Crash Course. You get a real bargain. Yeah, so go check out the YouTube channel, please. All right, if you're a YouTuber, go check us out over there. All right. Keep spreading the word about us. All right, like I say, I like to think we're doing good work here. We're informing people about a lot of important shit. I know it's shit that nobody really thinks about. It's brainless to an extent. It's only brainless until you realize one day, oh shit, right? You get the oh shit when you get in an accident or God forbid some other calamity, and then you realize, oh boy, ugh, what did I pay for or didn't I pay for, right? When it comes to your insurance policy. And the same thing with body shops, folks. I mean, please, I talk about body shops here a lot because that's another industry that very folks know anything about. I didn't know shit about it. All right? I didn't know shit about insurance either until I got hired by State Farm years ago. All right, but I knew even less about auto body. And I'm sure a lot of people out there right now are shaking their head, right, or cracking up and saying, yeah, this guy's right. I didn't know shit about it. None of us do. We know everything about mechanics, though, right? Everybody does. Because from the time you start driving, right, and your dad or your mom, you're teaching you, or your siblings are teaching you how to drive. Soon after you learn how to drive, right, what do you learn about? You learn about the mechanics to some extent, I would think. Anyway, I hope. Maybe I'm really prehistoric. Maybe I'm a dinosaur, that bad of a dinosaur. I don't know. Again, I grew up, like I said, different generation. Right? We grew up with cars. All right. A car was an extension of you. I mean, as a guy, you couldn't wait to get your first car. Now, I'm sure it's still like that to an extent, but I don't know about mechanically wise, like how inclined people are mechanically anymore. Now, I get it. You open the hood today and you're like, holy shit. Hey, Joe, did you go to school for engineering? How about Joey over there? I mean, how about John? Hey, Johnny, you got the engineer degree? You look at these motors and you're like, which one of your friends is an engineer? Because I mean, I get it. These motors, you don't even you can't do. I don't even know where the dipstick is anymore. Sometimes it's hysterical. But I still think you need. I don't know. You still need to understand. I don't know. You should understand basic mechanics, right? I mean, a tire, how to change a tire, all that other shit. But at any rate, yeah, I would hope, right, that some basic mechanics are still implied there at some point to some extent. But I think still, right, and again, whether you're female, male, I don't think it really matters. Right? I think for all of us, right, once we are fully immersed in the in adulthood, and we realize that the only way to get around, all right, is some form of mechanical machine, which is usually a car. Now, I realize we have electric cars. We've spoken at length here on this show about that. So, that's in there too. But it's still a car, all right? It's still a car. It still runs either on electric or mechanical, whatever the hell it is. And you need to know something about it. So eventually, what am I getting at? I'm getting at that we all end up, right, nesting with some guy that fixes cars. Or some organization, or, my dad went to Carmine's, or, my brother loves going to Joe Blow's Auto Mechanic, whatever it is. I mean, I've talked about this at length also. And for good reason, right? I mean, or the dealer. I'm a dealer guy. I know everybody laughs at me. You're an idiot. You go to the dealer, you get raped over there, blah, blah. I don't know. I probably do. I'm probably a jackass. But I haven't had the best of luck at independent mechanics, all right? No offense to the mechanics that are out there. You guys are all, I know most of you guys out there try and do a bang-up job. You try and save people money, and that's great. Hey, you know what? If you are a mechanic, give us a call, man. 631-452-2569, all right? Give us a call. We'd like to talk to you about getting involved, all right, with Crash Course and Collision Services Network. But anyway, I digress. I know that most of the guys out there, the independent guys, I know they really do strive to do great work, and they do try and shave off a lot of money, all right, because they know what the deal is at the dealer. All right, the deal with the dealer is that there is no deal, right? You go in there and they give you a bill and they're like, here you go, you got to pay. I mean, I remember I went in my truck and I say, hey, can you check this out for me? Just find out. Yeah, no problem. It's $190. I'm like, for what? I just asked you to check out a problem. Oh yeah, well we'll check it out. We'll diagnose it. But it's $190. I'm like, you fuck, and this is a place I've been going to for years. And me and my wife bought cars from them. So there's no deal at the dealer, right? I mean, for the most part. I mean, my guys are cool. They have saved me money where they can over the years. But at any rate, point to drive home here is the auto mechanical industry is pretty well versed. I mean, right? We're pretty well immersed in that. I mean, all of us to some degree, and even women too. I mean, this isn't to leave out women. I mean, women are very involved with that stuff as well, especially today. I mean, not my generation, but today more so. So, so I took a look at it and said, holy shit, nobody ever talks about collision, right? Nobody ever talks about the auto body industry. And it's an industry. Come on. There's here in Long Island anyway, man, right? I mean, come on. I've talked about there's a body shop on every freaking corner. I mean, we have V&J Auto Body, which is a big, huge shop, right? That's the shop I work at. They're a sponsor. And then right around the corner now, we have another guy. I'm not going to mention his name because he's a schmuck, and I'm not giving him, the luxury of having free advertising here on Crash Course. But he's literally right around the corner now, and he just bought the rest of the building. But the guy's a schmuck. Right now, I know he's a schmuck because I'm told by insurance adjusters that come in there that he's a schmuck. And I'm using the word schmuck to avoid other words. All right? But there's other words I could use for this guy. All right, but we'll leave it at schmuck. And yet people go to him, right? They're going to him. I don't know why. Maybe they're his aunt, his uncle, his cousin, his third cousin. I don't know. Maybe he did them a favor. They're doing him. I have no idea. But the point is people go there. But a lot of us don't know anything about the collision industry, right? If you stumbled into this guy's place, you wouldn't know. Looks nice. He's got a nice sign, painted the building. right? If he opens the door and you peek inside, ooh, looks kind of nice. He's got a nice new machine and everything. But you don't know what's going on in there, right? Folks, come on. None of us know. Mechanic shop, we're going to know, right? Oh, it's Carmine's Auto Repair, or, or Tricky Dick, or, Leprechauns Incorporated. They've been fixing my family's cars forever. Great. When you bring your car there and you feel great and you know what they do, they're going to put brakes on, they're going to put a tire on, they're going to put struts in, they're going to fix your exhaust, they're going to put spark, whatever it is. You know what's going on. Body shop, you have no idea. No idea, right? Admit it. No clue. You know what they're going to do. You know if they're going to fix something, right? Because they ain't fixing anything with mechanical. Come on. What's getting fixed with mechanical? It's all turn the wrench and replace it. All right? When I was an insurance adjuster, I used to crack up at that shit. I go to the dealer and, they're going to, hit me over the head with the hammer that they're holding in their hand. Oh, we need $3,000 an hour. And I'm like, for what? Well, we're doing mechanical. Yeah. You're taking a wrench and an impact gun and you're taking shit off and putting it back on. Meanwhile, the poor bastard in the body shop, he's being asked to fabricate stuff or, reform something, alter the molecular structure of the metal so that he can stretch it and get it back and hammer and dolly it. And that guy's getting, crumbs, scraps. Unbelievable, right? We're capitalism. It's unbelievable the way things shake out with that. Right? They get all the money and they don't really, come on, it's brainless. I'm sorry. Right? And then you ask the poor guy down the street to actually impart craftsmanship and talent and you give him peanuts, right? You throw peanuts on the table. Here you go. Anyway, so you got V&J Auto Body and then you got this other dummy around the corner, right? And yet, literally around the corner, and yet he's getting work. Now, why is that? Because people aren't educated. They don't know shit from Shiola about the collision industry. So here at Crash Course, we make sure that's not going to happen anymore. Now, we've been doing it for years. We're going to keep on doing it. We got a lot of shit packed in, a lot of stuff packed up for 2025. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to try and focus on doing some more videos. I know folks like the videos. We did a couple. Again, you can catch them up on the YouTube channel. We did a few that were really cool where we did some evolution videos where we took the bumper off on a car and showed you what was going on behind there versus what was actually seen. We did some other videos at the shops and stuff, and I want to see if we can get some more evolution videos. I think those are cool when we'll show you a car smacked up, and then we'll take do some more footage down the road with the car halfway fixed and blah blah blah, and and of course yours truly will be in there narrating it for you. Unlike all these other people that you see on Instagram, and folks, don't be fooled, man. Those Instagram guys, they're all sitting there with their cameras and and they're putting pictures of a banged up car or a car, look at this car. Now look at it over here. All right. Who gives a shit, right? Who cares? You don't even know what happened between the smacked up car and the car rolling out onto the driveway, right? You don't know. Looks good. You don't know what went on in between to get it there. Well, over here, Crash Course. All right. We give you the whole 9 yards. All right. And Collision Services Network. All right. CollisionServiceNetwork.com will be up and running again. All right. Strap in, tighten up your boot straps there and your belt buckle. All right. We're going to be working on something with that. So stay tuned on that. All right. Promise. We're going to have that rocking and rolling again. But seriously though, folks, Crash Course. Okay. We're here for the folks. All right. We do support and advocate for the independently owned and operated auto body industry here on Long Island. But I think we do very good work for the folks. All right. I try and inform everybody. I try and bring up things that I think people really need to be aware of. And again, I know it's not coffee fare. It's not something you talk about at a barbecue. You're drinking with your buddies or you're at a family event and you're hanging out and it doesn't come up in conversation. Should, but it doesn't, right? Because it's boring. It's stuff that we just don't think about. And as I said, getting back to the collision industry, because we talk about insurance, but the collision side of it's very important because most people don't know it. And I see it. I still see 10 years on the collision side. I used to deal with it with the insurance as an insurance adjuster, but that was both. Collision, that was the auto body and the insurance. People didn't know shit from Shiola about both. But now, 10 years on the auto body side, I'm still flabbergasted by how many people come in and have no damn idea. No idea about their insurance company, their policy. Forget about the collision. They don't know. All right. And as I've said before, all right, all joking aside, but it is funny. You know what they say? Ignorance is bliss. Well, not with this, it ain't. Okay? Ignorance is definitely not bliss, folks, when it comes to dealing with your insurance company or stumbling into the wrong body shop. Okay? No joke. Ignorance will hurt you. Okay? Ignorance today in the auto body industry will hurt you. All right? If you end up in the wrong spot with the wrong guy and the wrong body shop, okay, you could be in deep shit. Now, I don't mean deep shit. What do I mean? Like you're going to, bankrupt, your house is going to go up in flames, your car's going to, no. But, you could end up with a lot of aggravation, a lot of frustration, and yes, maybe financially you could be hurt a little bit. Okay, if they don't know what the hell they're doing. And by the way, this idiot around the block, this schmuck, this other shop that's open around the block from us, this is a guy that doesn't get it, folks. Okay, just doesn't get it. All right, and I said, what did I just say about you could end up in the wrong shop? All right, and that could hurt you financially. This jackass will take any car. He'll take a Tesla and tell people no problem. Meanwhile, he knows he can't get the parts. Folks, okay, wake up. You're driving a car of particular interest today, right? An EV, fancy car. All right, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of these cars today, folks, with these branded vehicles, Mercedes, Infiniti, Rivian, Tesla, of course, even Cadillac, the Cadillac Lyric, all these cars, folks, these are restricted cars. You don't notice, right? When they sell the car, the guy he don't explain it's a restricted car. Make sure they don't tell you that. Nobody tells you that. They don't give a shit. They restrict the cars. What do I mean by that? It means if you get in an accident and that thing's got to get fixed, guess what? Joe Blow ain't going to have access to the parts. He can't. He can't touch your car. I mean, he could touch it. He could touch it, but he can't work on it. But he's going to tell you he can. Of course he is, because he's going to get your car in there, get you signed up, get the job locked in, and then down the road when shit starts to fall apart, what are you going to do? The car's already there, right? So be aware of what you're driving today. Please, you have to educate yourself. Remember, I spoke about this on another episode a long, long time ago. I spent a lot of time on that. You can't be ignorant. I just said ignorance is not bliss in this industry. All right? Understand what you're driving and understand that, hey, if it gets in an accident, I need to make sure that I'm going to a body shop that's got the expertise, all right? The trained technician, expertise, and most importantly, folks, listen, all the other stuff, the production, that's great. Here's what's really important, though, about restricted vehicles. You can't get access to the parts. All right? And some of these cars, like a Tesla, guess what? They're not going to be able to get the car started, not going to be able to get it run, and that's when they call me. Okay? That's when they call V&J. Yeah, we have a Tesla here, and I don't understand. We're having a problem. We can't get it to run. Yeah, no shit. That's right, because you disconnected everything, and now you can't get the car to reboot. You know why you can't get it to reboot? Because you're supposed to have a subscription to Toolbox for Tesla, but you can't because you're not a certified facility, and you probably wouldn't be able to lay out $7,500 a year for that. All right, folks? Wake up. You got to stay informed today. Speaking of V&J, all right, before we sign off here for the day, V&J Auto Body has agreed. All right, you sitting down? I am. No, also V&J Auto Body has agreed to continue supporting Crash Course, the podcast, and we couldn't be more thrilled and more thankful for them for that. Thank you very much, Chandler and James Verone. All right, because without their support, I don't know where we'd be. All right, I'm serious. I mean, we've been, it's been growing thanks to folks like you. All right, please continue to spread the word. All right, again, then you're not going to see dancing monkeys here. You're not going to see, fancy dancing girls parading across the table. You're not going to see, half naked women dancing around on video. That's not happening here. That's out there, and if you like that shit, you can go find it. Right? That's not Crash Course. Okay, and you wouldn't want to see me dancing around anyway. But, what we do here is, like I said, we provide a service, and it's an important service because we touch on things that most people just don't spend a lot of time talking about, thinking about, understandably, insurance, body shops, right? It's not something that you get involved with a lot, okay? Statistically, most of us won't have to get involved with this stuff if we're lucky, for about every 10 years. They say about every 10 years, most of us will be involved in some kind of shindig, all right, with your car. God forbid it's serious, but, it'll be something. So look at it that way, folks. Eventually, statistically, you're going to be coming to the table when it comes to body shop and insurance. All right? And we all spend a lot of money on that. All right? So we really need to, rethink your approach to this. But V&J Auto Body is continuing to support the show. We couldn't be more thrilled. Thank you very much. V&J Auto Body is an amazing auto body shop, folks. You need to go check these guys out. V&JAutobody.com, 631-226-0070. They're located in beautiful downtown Lindenhurst. I can't say enough for them. I mean, listen, even when I was an insurance adjuster, we realized that, that this was a progressive shop in the sense that they were gurus about cars, always had an eye down the road and one eye on the present. That's the new owners as well, Chandler and James Verone. Young enough to be able to see the future, all right, but also old enough with his dad to, to understand the present. And that's what V&J Auto Body does, folks, all right? And, things are just going to get more complicated and more technical with cars. They just are. All right. I know there's been a little bit of a shift here in the thought process with respect to, ICE cars or, internal combustion engines, but the other shit's still going to be around. It ain't going away. All right. And it's going to continue to progress. And even with the ICE cars, internal combustible engines, even with the ICE cars, folks, understand this. The technology packages, even in those cars, will continue to evolve, will continue to get more complicated, more technical. All right. And there'll continue to be more minutia involved. So the emphasis here is on shops that are progressive, like V&J Auto Body. V&J Auto Body is a state-of-the-art facility. Okay, listen, I've been there 10 years, and, no bias apart. We are a trendsetter. All right. I seriously consider V&J Auto Body, okay, to be an industry leader. All right. If you look at a trade magazine or a body shop magazine, or even when you look at the news sometimes, you see a lot of these, independent shops that they're not that big. We are huge. All right. Huge. I mean, like, we have a 25,000 square foot facility and now a brand new 50,000 square foot facility, which can accommodate the largest Sprinter vans, the largest EV vans that Amazon's all using now, the Rivian vans. All right. We're also starting to pivot toward commercialized trucks now. Folks, this is a shop that's focused on the future. All right. So if you have a predicament with your car, whether it's collision or just auto body work in general, you need to call the guys over, the folks at V&J Auto Body. All right. Again, they're located in Lindenhurst, 631-226-0070. Can't say enough about them. They are an exact example of what we talk about here on Crash Course. All right. Knowing who's fixing your car, why they're going to fix it that way, and how they're going to fix the car. All very important questions. V&J can do it all. All right. And our girls, by the way, folks, our two claim rep girls, our two customer service experts, best in the business. The process that we have in place there is an exact replica of the insurance company. I would say it's even better because not only are we doing the claim side of it, but we're doing the body shop side of it. All right. Donna and Jackie are amazing, super knowledgeable. I would put them on a par or actually even better than some of the most educated insurance adjusters out there. All right. So if you're looking for that kind of work, you've got to give V&J Auto Body a call, folks. Go to VandJAutobody.com, check it out, see what the future looks like and what auto body repair is supposed to be. All right. We're going to wrap it up right there. Thanks for stopping by again. For all our long-term supporters, appreciate it. Hang in there. All right. Please stay on the bus. It's going to get even better, more exciting. All right. We're looking forward to it. I'll catch you on the next one.